Marks on his record-breaking budget, the White House kicking off a massive PR campaign at a time when, well, frankly, public dissatisfaction with his approach to the economy might be growing. Tucker Carlson, senior fellow for the Cato Institute, a former member of a couple other news networks that we don't want to mention here. What's happening, my old friend?
Hey, Bill, how you doing?
Nice to see you. I'm doing very well, thank you. It's nice to see you. It's about time you showed up, frankly. Hey, listen.
Glad to be here, actually.
What do you make about this whole AIG thing? You know, off with their heads. I mean, you have one after the other, after a 24-hour period saying, well, they're throwing mud in AIG's eye. What do you think's behind all this?
It's tough. I mean, it's tough for everybody, honestly. AIG has guards outside its headquarters in Connecticut this morning. That's how offended people are by the idea that a failing company bailed out by us is getting $165 million in bonuses paid for by taxpayers. On the other hand, the real problem here is for the Obama administration. AIG is getting another $30 billion, as you know. That money was approved by the administration earlier this month. At that point, the administration knew about these bonuses and didn't do anything about it. And so the truth is there's probably nothing they can do now. These are legal contracts, apparently, that AIG employees have. And by the way, the employees responsible for the meltdown that we bailed out are mostly gone from the company. These are people who are legally owed this money. And there doesn't seem to be a lot the federal government can do about it. And on the other hand, of course, there's public outrage, and in my view, justified public outrage.
Do you think it's justified? I mean, here's a company that's gotten $170 billion in tax money. And these bonuses, and it's my understanding, many of the employees at AIG will get $1,000 each. There's $165 million going out in bonuses, which on Wall Street is also interpreted as a salary, by the way. If you divide those two numbers together, you know what you get? Of the $170 billion we've given AIG, and there was no outrage before, at this level anyway, between Bernanke and Summers and the President Barack Obama, it's 0.1% of the total dollars that AIG's received.
The outrage, and that's my point, the outrage ought to be directed at the federal bailout itself. I mean, the only reason we're interested in this at all is because it can be construed as our money, because you have a massive infusion of taxpayer dollars into AIG coffers. And that's why we have an interest in this. So all of this outrage is an argument for why you don't get involved in the machinations of the private sector in the first place, why there is a moral cost to bailing out private sector industries. Nobody thought this through, or very few people thought this through on the front end. But now we are enmeshed in this. We've grabbed the tar baby, we can't let go.
What you're saying is that when the government gets into the business of doing business, you have to understand how business does its job. My point is the $165 million is peanuts. And so it's popular and trendy these days to have a populist voice. But does this White House, is it challenged by that? With all the Harvard law degrees inside the White House today, is it difficult for them to put them in the place of the common taxpayer across America and say, yeah, I am outraged, gosh darn it?
Well, that's what they're attempting to do, because this has the potential to undermine public support for Obama's entire economic program, which is more of this, more of government intervention into the marketplace. It's just too complicated, however. I mean, if you withhold these bonuses, the people who are set to receive them can sue. We're on the hook for the damages and the payout if they win, and they likely will. B, if they don't get the bonuses, they may leave. Someone has to run AIG. By the way, running AIG is a complicated proposition. Your average federal employee probably couldn't do it. And so you have to have highly skilled, in some cases highly paid specialists at AIG to keep the company from costing us more. It's all very complicated. You shouldn't have done it in the first place.
Okay, correct. My point in this is you're right to be outraged that they spent $165 million, but we should have been outraged 4 or 5 months ago to the degree that we're hearing it now out in Washington. By the way, we're just hearing tomorrow, before a House subcommittee, the CEO of AIG, Mr. Liddy, will get his hat handed to him, apparently, during a public flogging on Capitol Hill. So then we have theatrics for yet another day. There he is, R.D. Liddy.
It's all a ritual that reoccurs every year in Washington.
Yeah. Listen, we're going to hear President Obama in a matter of minutes here. I've only got 15 seconds here. The budget proposal, how's this going to go over when people look at the trillions behind it?
Obama is still more popular than his proposals. I'm not sure the majority of the 308 million Americans who are watching this buy into the idea that when we're running out of money, we need to spend trillions more, which is the essence of his budget.
Yeah. Tucker, good to see you, man.
Great to see you, Bill.
Don't be a stranger.